and welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show. Again. We're here again.
Yes.
With Howie.
It's my first time.
And yeah, Jay is here for the first time.
Welcome, Jay.
It feels like the first time. Foreigner.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Foreigner. I was just gonna say that.
I was thinking more Madonna.
Yeah.
Like a virgin. Yeah.
Because it's not the line. And feels like the first time, feels like the very first time versus like a virgin. Huh.
Yeah. And speaking of music, your previous show, Brian, when you said Asleep at the Wheel.
Love Asleep at the Wheel.
I thought of that country group from the 70s, Asleep at the Wheel.
Yeah, that is the group.
Yep.
But they had a pop hit back in like 78, 79.
Yeah.
Yep. Driver's Seat.
Seven Tears.
Yeah, their very first album was nothing but covers, but it sold a lot.
So a Driver's Seat is Sniffing Tears. What was the Asleep at the Wheel song?
Baby, get your nose out of there.
I don't know.
That's the name of the band, Asleep at the Wheel.
Okay. We'll
anyway.
Take your word for it, old timer.
Music.
I don't remember that one.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, no. Oh, you want to see the Prince machine stop dead in his tracks? Hey, tonight we're going to talk about Graham Parsons. Brian, you go first.
Oh, Graham Parsons that died in the desert. Ooh.
You know, I don't want to talk about this for the whole show. No, hold on.
The Achilles heel's been exposed.
Bear with me here. I got a topic.
Okay.
Got a topic.
All right.
It's not Graham Parsons.
Hey, we're on.
Not
we're
Graham
on
Parsons. No.
We're on. We got a topic.
I have
All
a
right.
topic, and I'm gonna just say that my example isn't the show topic. My example is strictly an antidote to what we're going to be talking about. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Did you see the Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh,
yes. And it hasn't been talked about enough.
Okay, no, it's all over.
hasn't.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
This is what I've noticed.
But
What?
well, too
I'm
many
not critiquing the
complainers.
Super
I
Bowl
thought it was
halftime show,
good.
by the way.
I thought their music choices were good. I didn't like the Dollhouse, but that's the only thing I didn't like.
I thought they were FEMA trailers, but that's another story.
FEMA trailer. Yeah.
But no,
That's
I'm
when
not
Eminem lip synced on, right?
I wasn't going to critique the show, but you baited me. No,
No, I didn't.
this was the weird phenomenon that happened in my news feed. People either loved it or they hated it.
Yeah.
It was polarizing, and some people said it was the best Super Bowl halftime show ever.
No, it wasn't.
Now, neither here nor there. I'm not here to critique it.
It wasn't Prince.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is all anybody's talking about. Either they loved it or it's very polarizing.
Right. It's an age thing.
So I got off of social media. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I called my mom, and my mom's like, she's got something to say about it. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
So I was like, screw it. I can't escape it. I did a video talking about it.
Yep.
And just Super Bowl halftime show in general. Didn't critique that show. I thought it was fine for what it was. It was fine.
Sure.
And, but I said, you know what? Here's where I think there's an issue. I believe the issue is it's kind of like wedding DJs. It's exactly like wedding DJs where we're playing in front of everyone.
Right.
We don't go out and we don't play all hip hop for a mixed audience. We don't play all 80s for a mixed audience. We don't play all country for a mixed audience.
Right.
We mix it up.
Right.
If we only had 15 minutes to play, like Jay does often at his weddings in Temecula,
Yes.
Peek out.
You still have to mix it up to make it. Otherwise, you're gonna disenfranchise people. I think
you got to pick 3 great songs at my weddings.
Well, here's the thing, and tell me what you think of this analysis.
Okay.
I feel like you're better off with a country full of people, for the most part, saying that was all right, than a country full of people saying it was great or it sucked.
No.
I think you're better off with saying it's all right.
You're better off with the middle.
You're better off. I think so. Howie?
I disagree. But I'll let Howie go
Either be
first.
great or
No.
suck.
Yeah.
No, I
But
didn't.
we're not that way at weddings.
I didn't think it sucked.
No.
I think honestly, my honest feeling, I think it went along racial lines. The people that said that it sucked were like freaking living in FEMA trailers, and the people that enjoyed it were people that love music.
Well, I don't know, man. I was just thinking to myself, if I had to produce a halftime show, and I knew for a fact that I was, and again, just an antidote, not the topic I wanted to cover tonight, but I was just thinking, if you've got to give everybody a little something, or it's in your best interest to give everybody a little something, if you go back to the old days,
They had marching bands.
they had marching bands.
Marching
Yeah.
band, yeah, it's true.
It was
Yes.
A&M marching band or something.
Mhm.
And they'd bring out maybe a celebrity to say something or sing something or whatever. I saw George Burns went out and did something.
I know. Oh my God, I cringe when I think of that.
I don't know what he did. I never saw it, but it was like whatever. It was just a halftime show. But then, they kind of, would trickle in artists here and there. And then it was Gloria Estefan with the marching band and whatever. And then all of a sudden it was Super Bowl halftime show sponsored by Pepsi, Michael Jackson. And it's like, oh boy. And then from there on out, it was kind of like the showcase.
Right, but they also did the triples. They did the like Katy Perry with Red Hot Chili Peppers and Bruno Mars, and then they went back to the single acts, and then they went to. And by the way, if nobody knows this, they are paid $0 to perform at the Super Bowl.
Zero. Yeah.
I was thinking that a really cool format would be, from a wedding DJ's point of view, knowing what we know about people,
Play
knowing
country.
how we're trying to give everybody a little something, especially like in that family hour. Yeah,
I'm
no,
dead
not
serious.
paying attention to Jay. What would happen if you did like an all-star band kind of thing? And I'm thinking about Ringo's all-star band.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would rotate. I think it was Colin Hay from Men at Work one time, and Sheila E. was in that band, and the guy from Supertramp was in the band, and maybe the guy from Ambrosia was in the band, and
And
they had all these different people that would come together, and you'd have like a really good keyboard player and a really good guitar player and a really good drummer. Or, well, that would be Ringo, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's part of the all-star.
do it year after year, and then
Well, it
switch
would
up
be
the
different
players
every year, is what I'm thinking.
But it would be an all-star band every year.
I was also thinking of Casey and the Sunshine Band, because that's an all-star band.
That is.
I've seen them perform
That is.
live, and they'll bring one year. I went to go see them, and the background vocalist, the main female background vocalist, was the lead singer from Company B, the Freestyle act, and they had Montel Jordan was the rapper, and it was neat.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody was there, and it was the best of the best. Wow, I don't know. I just think it might be interesting to do something like that. And I'm also thinking about these odd collaborations that happen now. We've seen it. I heard another one today on the radio. I hadn't heard before, and maybe I'm behind on the times, but I heard some kind of weird mashup of Michael Jackson's Remember the Time and Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight.
Yeah, that Sickick Music did that a few months ago.
I saw that.
And there's the Dua Lipa and Elton John.
That's a track. Yeah.
That's a track.
He actually did that track. The other one's a producer that did it, the Michael Jackson, Phil Collins.
Right.
But I mean, that kind of stuff is hot right now.
Oh, totally.
And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, what if you put like Garth Brooks and Weeknd up there? What the heck would they do?
Suck.
Or never mind then. I just thought it was an idea.
No. I agree with you, but I think it's a pattern. Like country should be next year, and country should be next year because that's what they haven't focused on in a long time. I mean, like for me, if you want a Super Bowl big show, the band I would pick would be the one band that would get booed off the stage by everyone in this room, and that would be Foo Fighters. Because everyone looks at every event as, oh, they got an all. Oh, who's the band? Oh, it's Foo Fighters again? Because they show up everywhere, but they show up everywhere because they do a good show.
But what I'm saying is,
and they would do it live.
As a DJ, okay, you know what to do in front of a mixed audience.
Right.
You know what tracks to pick.
Yep.
You know, okay, I'm looking around and I'm seeing who's in the room.
Yep.
I see a few cowboy hats. Some of them are Mexican guys wearing them.
Yep.
Some of them aren't. You know, I see some teenagers. I see some girls or couples in their 20s. I see some couples in their 50s. I see some couples in their 30s. I see grandma over there. In fact, she's at the table with all the aunts at about her age. I got to do a set right now where I can kind of include everybody, where I'm not alienating anybody. I'm not playing all, whatever, cumbia and banda for this group. I'm not playing all, crooners for this group. I'm not playing all rock for that group. I'm going to pick some tracks and I'm going to try to play some stuff that's familiar to everybody, but I don't want to leave anybody out. So I'm going to hop around a little bit and give everybody a little something. It just
path of least resistance.
That would be the way to go.
Yeah. It's the path of least resistance where you get the biggest audience to respond. Hence why I would say country, because country has the bigger following.
But that would be like saying if you had more teens there, you would ignore everybody else and just play that music.
No, it's not saying that, but it's looking at things.
What you're saying?
No, I'm looking from the perspective of let's turn the table. If this was the famous NASCAR race of the year, what music would you expect?
Country.
Okay, so that's at least dialed in with one genre. Football's not. Football is like get up and go music. Like, look at what DJ, like if you've ever DJed a sporting event, you're not playing Barry Manilow Weekend in New England between plays. Right. You're playing like get up and go crazy music.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, and forgive me if I didn't, but I didn't mean for this to be a Super Bowl show. I was using that as an antidote to what do you do for mixed audiences.
Right. And I think it's a great topic because I think it opens up to, I think the learning lesson from this Super Bowl is, do you take a 15-minute segment of the night and instead of playing a Dr. Dre and then a Paperboy and then a Bruno Mars, do you start looking at your audience at a wedding and going, hey, you know what? The joke of the Super Bowl was if you were over 50, you said, who are these people? And if you were under 30, you said, who are these people? Meaning there was a core audience of 30 to 50 that was like, oh, I'm in my wheelhouse. So do we now go to weddings and say, and a lot of us, including me, have done this for years, where it's like, remember that time when Pitbull would have like 8 songs you could probably play at a wedding? So you would play 5 of them, but only a minute and a half each and do like a medley.
Whole thing.
Maybe that's where we're going. Maybe now, I mean, let's face it, the next event I do is in March. I will play a Dre, Snoop, Eminem set within the club, because it'll be a throwback to the Super Bowl, but it will also be, I'll get that audience that's around me going crazy and they'll feel included.
Empathize with the audience and the meme that I saw that you verbalized, if you're over 50 or under 30, you don't get it. I think DJs got it. Because we lived it and I knew every song and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, but I think you're right. There's certain demographics that didn't get it. So if they didn't understand, oh, well, I hate it, which is kind of strong.
Well, it was just really polarizing either way, but I mean, we've seen it before.
Hugely. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make this about the Super Bowl. Let's just do it. I guess I'll just stop trying to dance.
No.
It's done already. We're 15 minutes in, and that's all we've talked about. But if I was going to produce this thing, I think that first of all, you got to stretch it a little bit. If you're going to do what I'm suggesting, 15 minutes isn't quite enough time. an extra 5 minutes, hey, you know what? Maybe we can work with that.
I don't think
Hey,
they have that
you
You
time.
know
that
though.
way
what?
to
You,
go.
you know, you make a good point. Like they're rushing this thing because it's halftime. It's like, Jesus, this thing ends at 10 o'clock at night. Why not let them do a half-hour show?
No,
And
that's too long.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, there's a compromise there somewhere, but
I mean, you
know,
got two teams
stretch it a little
competing.
bit.
That's the
But
focus,
you
not
gotta
the halftime
figure
show.
it's 17 minutes. They got to drag the dollhouse out and set
Yeah.
that up, you know, and everything else. And then it's like they only had 13 minutes of music.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why they did what they did. I understand that it was LA, and I understand that it's West Coast, and I understand that, you know, this is their turn.
But did you hear other opinions? Did you hear other people? Because I heard people say both. I heard,
Yeah.
oh, it's
yeah.
California. But I also heard a bigger audience say to me, well, this is pandering. I'm not surprised. This is who's performing.
Well,
Well,
I heard a different thing though. I heard they kind of they didn't really bill it that, but it was implied that it was a West Coast thing. But goddamn, you had two artists that were there that are not from the West Coast.
Well, yeah, but Dre.
You had
produced it.
Mary and you had Eminem. They're
But-
not from the West Coast.
Yeah,
but they're-
Detroit,
they're-
New York.
They're Dre, and Dre's West Coast, so that's why.
Yeah, and Snoop's
yeah.
Long Beach. You're in
Dre is-
Inglewood.
Dre is actually, and it's kind of weird because I think we was thinking Dre is this rapper guy, and he is, but he's produced some neat stuff that,
Yeah.
like the Michelet stuff I was talking about a
Neat
couple weeks
stuff.
ago. That was
Holy
him.
cow.
You know,
He's signed all the big artists. He's a billionaire.
he's
Well,
done
that's
very-
based on beats. Let's be honest. Apple spent $3 billion to buy him and Jimmy Iovine out. So he got his
Okay.
cut. I mean, that's just the reality. He became a billionaire when Apple gave him $3 billion for his company.
So
I'm not saying he's not talented and not a good producer. I'm just saying he's
I'm-
doing very
I
well
would-
already.
I would say he's a good businessman if he sold something for $1 billion.
Oh yeah, Apple came in and bought out. Jimmy Iovine owned Beats by Dre because he was walking down the beach and had an idea for headphones, and up on a balcony in Malibu was Dre, and he said, "Hey, let me talk to you. I got an idea. What do you think?" "Yeah, I'm on board."
Yeah, and the truth is, Beats headphones suck.
Oh, they do. But there's a great documentary about Jimmy Iovine.
You guys are so much fun tonight.
I think it's on Netflix. It's like a 4-part documentary. Very interesting. But they go over the whole process, and it's intriguing to see it go from an idea on the beach to give us money, you know?
Yeah,
I think the learning lesson, Brian, and it'll be interesting to see next year, and I think they'll cave to the pressure of having a Garth Brooks, Luke Bryan kind of thing going on next year, whatever. But, you know, I think the NFL has been in is a terrible example because they've been in so much trouble over the last few years between players getting concussions and dying and the whole Colin Kaepernick issue and the issue in the front office and coaching and GMs
right.
and
And the
ownership.
coaching.
And I think they're, you know, Goodell is constantly trying, like, okay, how do I spin this? You know, the girl they had a country girl sing the national anthem, and I thought she did a great job.
She did.
Well,
Now,
did.
but she also represented a group.
well,
So in their eyes, I think it was, I mean, you know,
yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I'm not suggesting that it's particularly exclusive to this show where it's alienated a lot of people. I'm just saying that I saw a lot of it, you know, a lot of polarization with this one on social
Yeah.
media. We watched it. I'll tell you right now, we wouldn't turn on a country halftime show. We weren't watching the Super Bowl. Well, I was watching the commercials and doing other things. Blanca was not. She was watching
Right.
home improvement shows. But
Right.
she turned the channel when the halftime show came out because she was interested in seeing it. We
And that's
won't
the
do
point of it.
if it's a
Thrilled.
country show.
right.
Yeah.
But that's
So-
the, you know,
If it's that big of a draw, I mean, I don't know. Geez, again, I have nothing to do with this. I'm not the NFL. What the hell do I know? But man, if they just stretched it 5 minutes, and how relevant is Elton John and Dua Lipa's Cold Heart right now? They could have put it right in the middle of that.
That's what I said before.
Right in the middle. So you're going to do
stretch
this.
it a
You're going to be the
little bit.
main thing, but we're going to do this other thing right in the middle of it. Or
But
something.
now,
I don't know.
If they stretch that 5 minutes more, they're getting $7 million for what, 30 seconds? So they have, what do they got? 10, that's an extra $70 million worth of commercials. Come on.
Well,
Give us 5 more minutes.
They look at it the other way. They look at it the other way, Howie, as we'd rather sell $70 million worth of commercials in 5 minutes than give the performers 5 more. I mean, when it was in San Diego,
perhaps, but you know what? Your ad dollars might go further if you mix it up more and bring a bigger audience in.
yeah, but the ad dollars are already established before the group's announced. I worked for the NFL for when they were in San Diego, and it was amazing to watch the intricacies with which, because I worked directly for the head of marketing for the NFL. She came into town, and it was the most incredible machine I've ever seen. I did a party for the commissioner. I did a party for ESPN on boats because I ran boats then. And they had stuff down to the second. I had to get a gobo of the Super Bowl logo. I had to sign an NDA. I had to bring the NDA to the place that was cutting it. They had to sign it. We had to fax them back. I mean, they were very, very, very on top of it. And I remember at the time being a DJ saying, who's the halftime act? And she's like, it's Shania Twain. And they were out at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, testing everything, performing for 8 straight days, running through, doing fireworks, getting the staging out, getting it back. And they're just so well oiled, and this is how we do it. So I think even recommending 5 more minutes, I think they're wound so tight. Brian,
I'm out of school tonight. Then I'm sorry. We'll talk about something else.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not everything I'm said tonight.
I'm agreeing with Brian.
It's not that I'm shooting it down. I'm giving the counterpoint to it. A side note, Cadillac was a sponsor.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Yeah. Cadillac was a sponsor of the Super Bowl. They brought in 75 blue, not black, blue Cadillac Escalades with Michigan license plates that said manufacturer on them. Those were brought into San Diego, and that's what everyone from the NFL was using because they were everywhere. And I remember saying to Nancy,
that's product
who I worked with, and I'm like, what's with all the Cadillac Escalades that are out front? There's 9 blue Escalades. She goes, oh, they're a sponsor, so that's what they've given us. I'm like, this is insanity. But I think it speaks to what we do as DJs, where we have to know our audience. But I also think it's too polarizing to not mistake that it becomes a political statement almost, that it becomes a social statement almost.
I wasn't even thinking in those terms. I was only thinking in terms of, if you've got a nationwide audience, maybe you should play to the entire nation and try to give everyone in the nation a little something. Instead of just doing this or just this, how about a little? And those shows where they tried to mix up the artists, I mean, that's cool and all, but they're all kind of in the same wheelhouse. They're all kind of, okay, this is the top 40 thing. Get the hip hop in there. Always get it in there.
Sure.
And get the country in there always, and get the top 40 in there always, and get something else in there always. I think it would be nice to do something like that. I think it would draw a bigger crowd, and it would be interesting to see the collaborations.
And then we could all be in the club. Oh, did you see what I did there?
Upside down in the club.
Upside down. Yeah.
And apparently he's been working on his abs because I'm sorry, what I saw was $1.50, not 50 cents.
Yeah. That was more than 50 cents, right?
Yeah, that was like $1.25 plus. No, I think I don't think it's there to make the statement we think it's there to make.
Well,
I think they look at it as, hey, we're not going to pay you. What do you want to do? Like, because there are acts that have been offered the Super Bowl that have said, how much? And they've said, we don't pay. And they've said, no.
You're looking at the business end of things. I'm looking
there
at it
have
from
been.
a programming point of view.
I know, but Brian, I think that's my point. It has to be all inclusive. I think. You have to put it this way. If the Super Bowl is in Atlanta next year, would it make sense to have Dre and Eminem and Snoop and Mary J. Blige? Would that make sense? Or would it make more sense to have Jermaine Dupri and Ludacris? And like, they have to make nods to the locations, and the locations are always sunny. So it's always going to be in Florida and California and Atlanta and Texas.
Well, that's fine and all, but we've seen the Who there, we've seen the Stones there, we've seen Paul McCartney there. None of them are from the U.S.
No, and they were big shows.
That's true. And they were big shows.
Prince was, what was it? Was it New Orleans? Is that where he was?
I want to say it was New Orleans. What was it, 2007?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be
and that was just a confluence of the perfect storm.
Oh yeah,
that
it rained during Purple Rain. I mean, come on.
Come on.
I think
when's that ever going to happen again?
It's really nice to showcase your local talent, and I think you should. But there's other stuff too, and it's not just. I thought it was really cool, and we did, and you know what? No, I'm not doing it because it was so painful for me to watch it.
Yeah, but we're music lovers. That's why we enjoyed. We may have changed a few songs, but I enjoyed the music, and even though, and goddamn, these people that are complaining, they were lip syncing. Of course, they're lip syncing. They got 2 minutes to get the set up, and then they start to perform. There's no way you can do live sound. They've been doing lip sync for years.
You mean Prince lip synced?
No, but I'll say this. I will say this.
Well, he didn't. They didn't have to.
Well, hold on a second.
That's my attitude.
Hold on a second. In their defense, and maybe I'm just out of school here on this.
Very old.
But I'm thinking that the art form of rap,
yes,
isn't necessarily a stadium performance piece. It's more of a more intimate venue piece.
To me, that's a valid statement.
That's yeah.
When you try to do it at a stadium,
it's a tough sell.
Yeah.
Well, if you do like LL Cool J with "Mama Said Knock You Out," you're going to get a crowd going, "Oh, I know this." And I think that was part of it with Dre and Snoop was the audience knew it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they played off of, this is LA, we're in Compton. Mm-hmm. I mean, so if you don't know this, SoFi Stadium is in Compton. It's like Inglewood, Compton. It's right there.
Oh, so it's a good neighborhood.
It's getting there.
Well,
yeah.
It's also the most expensive stadium in the country.
Well,
like $7 billion.
I don't know. I thought Snoop did a pretty good job. I mean, he was the first guy up there.
Snoop was very good, I thought.
No, but I mean, he commanded the crowd.
Snoop could read the phone book and it would sound good. He's got a swagger.
In general, I'm just thinking the art form of rap isn't necessarily a stadium performance piece.
Unless you have 20 rappers doing their thing really well, really rapid fire.
Well,
if the Super Bowl is Miami, I want Will Smith to do Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had just noticed that, when Kendrick Lamar went up there, it was, I remember hearing this a long time ago. It's an interview with Tim Curry for Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror.
And he was talking about, they were interviewing him during the filming of the movie. And he was in the play. I don't know where it was at. I think it was in London, and then they brought
it was like London West End or something.
Yeah,
London was the first play.
Yeah. Written by Richard O'Brien.
And they asked him, well, how was it doing this? He says, well, it's a little different because
a little.
Well, no, he said it's a little different doing the movie because doing the play, when you're on stage, you make these real exaggerated gestures.
Right.
Things very theatrically, and you might, if you're going to raise your hand in a play, you might go like this, but if you're going to do it on film, you might just do this. because
Right.
And we all know
different
how much you love musicals.
yeah, I do. But no, I'm just saying he made an interesting point where live performance is different than on the screen, or it's more
Yes.
intimate on the screen. Where live, it's like you tend to exaggerate your gestures. I was noticing Kendrick Lamar was really over exaggerating his gestures, but that's probably because he was in a stadium. But we were watching it on a television, which was more intimate. So it was just a weird translation. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's where it would have maybe looked more natural to us as viewers if his statements wouldn't have been as exaggerated.
Well, and he was shot.
I agree.
In his defense, the two things that I didn't get about him: one, why was he on the stage on the ground? And two, why of you know, I think he got a Grammy on his first album, or at least it was nominated. I mean, he's got some great songs that are well known.
Nominated.
That
He didn't-
wasn't it.
He
Okay,
didn't
he
win.
did win, but the song he did, he's got better songs that are better known. Like if you've only got one shot, give them what they know. Try to get like
Wait a minute. One shot. That's Eminem. He did that
But-
song.
Yeah, but the two
Yeah.
songs Eminem did, I was both like, okay, I get it, but I'm kind of don't get it. Like,
Oh, I totally get
okay,
you.
one shot he's doing because Super Bowl, okay,
No,
but
he-
like, I would have been totally all over behind My Name Is. Like, I would have totally tried to like get people being like, "Oh, what is this? I like this," because the other thing about the Super Bowl is, famously, just like the Grammys, just like different award shows, the next day, you usually see a spike in sales on the artist due to their performance. I guarantee if you were to track Prince's sales the day that Monday after the Super Bowl, I guarantee they were
that's a-
higher than average.
That's a known fact.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to unpack in what you just said. First thing you said was you didn't know why Kendrick Lamar picked the song he picked. And you had said earlier that they don't get paid for this. So
Right.
you might as well promote his latest track. Now, on the other hand, a guy like
That's a
Eminem,
good point. That's a good point.
a guy like Eminem, who I really do like. I like
Yeah.
the guy. I
Yeah.
like, I'm thinking to myself, let's pretend that you're not an Eminem fan for a minute.
Right.
But maybe you've seen the movie 8 Mile and you like it because it's a really good movie.
Mhm.
He was playing to the audience. Eminem was the one that
He
stood out
did.
to me as getting it and understanding who he was performing in front of, and he did exactly what I think he should have done.
I think he should have been the
choices.
closer.
Yeah, I agree.
With my shoe?
I
He
agree.
came in right though, with the thing exploding, and it was this big deal. He came in right. I think
I mean, the 50 Cent thing,
was highlighted.
and they said, oh, we're bringing in special guests. So I thought, oh, they're going to do the Tupac hologram and do California Love.
Well,
Because that to me made total sense.
they
Like,
did the piano, they
right.
did the piano tribute.
yeah, or bring in Roger Zapp and have him get like pop up on stage like California Love.
he's dead. Roger Troutman's
Yeah.
dead.
Oh, well,
He
maybe
killed
his son.
himself.
Well, get his son. Oh, I didn't know that. But do something because it's California, or to your point earlier, maybe you have Mike Love come out and work California Love into California Girls, or
Ooh.
do something that's a twist on the area, and that would probably fulfill. Because I'll tell you, if Mike Love had jumped up on stage, and it
Now
was
you're
suddenly
talking
like
wordplay.
right, exactly. But if they had gone deeper than just here's my song, I'm going to play it. If they had said for this Super Bowl here in Atlanta, in the middle of this song where you mentioned this, we want to bring the guys from Little Feat to do Hot Atlanta, or we want to bring the guys in from Jermaine Dupri to do Atlanta or whatever. But play off the environment, and especially if there's something to do with the game or the spirit
now
of
you're
fight,
circling back
or
to what Brian said.
no, I
about
am.
appealing to everyone.
That's my point. I would have been really jumped up and down if suddenly, like, oh my God, that's so and so. Like, because then you play to the audience that Brian is saying. Now you've got a bigger audience you're playing to, because Mike Love is playing to people that are much older, that are, the Beach Boy fans, or suddenly in the middle. Like, if there was a song with the word margarita, have Jimmy Buffett pop up on a guitar and do Margaritaville in the middle. Let me tell you, you'd get the hell of a response.
Yeah, there's all kinds of neat stuff that you could have done with it. In California, I mean, my gosh, the pool of talent there. I mean, it's crazy and it goes
Right.
all over the place. New, old, whatever. Iconic. There's tons of stuff. I remember, geez,
Randy Newman could have done I Love L.A.
I think it was a Grammy performance where they were doing the Puff Daddy and the Family, I'll Be Missing You. And
Right.
Sting popped up and sang the bridge.
I remember that. And I thought it was amazing.
There, you know.
Yeah, that was amazing. I remember watching
those
that
kind of
on
things
the
are more
Grammys or something.
inclusive,
Oh, yeah,
know?
because I was like, oh, my God, is that Sting? Oh, my God, Sting's doing oh, my God, this is amazing. Like, because I felt involved. Because I was like, yeah, I like the song. You know, I like Puffy. It's okay. But all of a sudden, Sting was more my speed. So I'm like, oh, my God, this is amazing.
Let me just, before we close the show, let me tell you about the power of being involved. And I never experienced this close up like I did when Jennifer Lopez and Shakira were doing the Super Bowl halftime show in Miami. Because we've talked about this, where I am not a nationalist in the least bit. I'm not sitting around telling you how wonderful the Violent Femmes are, or Liberace, or Steve Miller, or Les Paul, because they're from here. I don't get excited when, like, if I went somewhere and they said, hey, we're going to play you something from Milwaukee. I said, hey, how about don't? Play something else.
Your flag is red, white, and blue with a star. We know.
I'm not that guy.
Got the one star right in the middle. We got it. We got you.
But I have empathy for others. And whoever was playing the Super Bowl that year, Blanca watches football, but she wasn't interested in either teams.
Right.
When she found out that two Latinas were going to be headlining the halftime show,
she felt they were speaking to her.
She'd never seen two Latinas do something like that on a national stage.
When was this, the 50s?
That's awesome.
Just saying, it's like we've seen these acts before, haven't we? She felt it was that groundbreaking,
but not on the Super Bowl.
Jay, it was the Super Bowl. It was Miami.
So it makes perfect sense. Gloria Estefan,
I confess, dude, I was watching Blanca watching it, and it made me cry. It was beautiful.
That's awesome.
I mean, that was so important to her that she was included, you know? If the power of inclusion is that big,
right back to the beginning where you want to include everyone.
Then you know what? Moving forward, take Brian's advice, and I agree with him, and simply make the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah, make it inclusive.
Make it inclusive all the way around, and cover every possible. Have George Strait playing with J-Lo, playing with Dre, playing with Steven Tyler, playing with Jimmy Buffett, playing with Luke Bryan, and just show that the point of the Super Bowl halftime show is the American inclusion of all when it comes to music.
It's not just this or this or this.
You should have said this in the beginning, Brian. You really should have made a point to kind of give us this as a message.
What's wrong with me? Moron.
We wonder this every week.
We got to pull this out of you for the whole show. It's like you could have just started.
Ratchet and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Could have just started with, let's be inclusive.
Yeah, except we won't suffocate you.
No, that would be bad.
That would be bad. No.
You want some Wrigley's gum?
No.
Ooh. double mint. Ooh.
I want to put a fork in this.
All righty. Okay.
So there's a weird show for you, John, that you can.
Yeah, but I think it's something that this show would be a good one to review next January, February, and see what the Super Bowl committee has decided to do with the halftime show for next year. If they
watch my show and say, what were we thinking? And
not only that, Brian, but if they look at, because social media is so strong now.
Yeah.
Back in our day, the halftime show was just a thing they gave us. It was the little cherry on top. Like, hey, for the wives and girlfriends or whoever's not into football, we want you to feel like we'll give you a little something. We'll give you, hey, look, Tom Petty. Hey, look, this. I think it's become bigger than that now because it's part of the package. It's part of the whole movement. And it'll be interesting more so in 2023 than ever before because of everything we know and have, the way America's gone for the last few years. This isn't the act that I was looking to as being groundbreaking. I'm looking at next year as where they can really say something powerful. And I hope they do. I hope they bring the four corners together in the middle and say, here you go, America. Here's a mirror for you. Here's who we feel you are musically, and we're trying to give you a little bit of everything. Because I guarantee the musicians would do it in a heartbeat. I could see J-Lo performing with any of them, Gloria Estefan, any of them, whoever.
She's done it twice. I was just going to say that, one thing that we didn't talk about was I can't think of any other thing that happens all year that people tune in like they tune in for the Super Bowl. I can't. I mean, the
That's
Super Bowl
true.
halftime show.
Yes.
No, it's huge.
We used to have MTV. We used to have people used to watch the Grammys. They cared about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American
It's all
Music
gone.
Awards and all that.
Gone.
Yeah.
And they
I mean,
don't.
the ratings are down on that stuff.
Yep.
So
Way
this
down.
is the showcase
Yeah.
Yeah.
on a global stage. So maybe
Not even American Idol and all those shows anymore. Remember when American Idol peaked and you had Rod Stewart coming out of nowhere? It's like, wait, what's Rod Stewart doing? Because Rod Stewart's management said, hey, Rod, want to sell a couple million albums? We need to put you on this final. Kiss played the final. Rod Stewart. Jeff, I mean, they were bringing him out of the woodwork. Like, here you go.
this is just, such a huge stage and such a unique opportunity that I don't know. It's just a thought.
Here, to your comment earlier, do the Ringo All-Star Band, and you want to see the entire Super Bowl get overshadowed and blow up. Out walks Paul McCartney.
He's done the Super Bowl.
Well,
No.
he's done
But
that.
Ringo's band is doing it with Ringo on the drums, and out walks Paul McCartney.
Brian's concept of an all-star band. I've seen Ringo's all-star band 8 times because they come into town every year. It's never the same people.
Yeah.
No,
That's
and it's always
kind of
great
what I was
people.
alluding to. Yeah. Or something like that. Doesn't necessarily be musicians, but it could be. But it could also be just, people coming out and performing. And
I think that the twist, because it's such a big stage, it's an opportunity. And there aren't a lot of bands that aren't back together now. Like Guns N' Roses 5 years ago, 6 years ago, before they got back together. If you had said, hey, Guns N' Roses is playing, and you walked out Axl, is singing, and you walked out Slash and Duff, people would have lost their minds. Oh my God, it's the original. But there aren't those bands anymore because people are either dead or they're just not there.
well, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I can't even imagine what I would consider an all-star band today. Like, hey, everyone, Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the drums. Yeah, that's cool. He's a great drummer. But it's not.
Listen, like I said before, don't worry about musicians. I mean, that was just an example. Just worry about a collection of diverse artists coming together and doing something.
No, I agree.
That's a thing right now.
I agree.
So maybe at some point we should make this band.
Well, no, we can't make the band. The band.
No, we can. We can just pretend we can make the band.
We can
Say,
theoretically
on
put the band
drums,
together.
on percussion, Sheila E. On drums, Ringo Starr. On bass, whoever. On guitars, whoever. On vocal, 5 different singers. I mean, I would love to hear that. I would love to hear 4 different styles of music
They
singing.
do that every year at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
They have that one big jam at the end.
Yeah.
Right. But maybe that's the new Super Bowl band concept
Right.
moving forward, and then have rappers come out and maybe they rap over the original sample that's actually being played by a band.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Everybody's happy.
Everyone's thrilled.
And everybody, yep.
Well, once again, I have tied this package together and given everyone a reason to watch because I have now found what Brian was trying to say. I apologize for the time, but
okay.
Takes a while to pull it out of him sometimes.
Okay. Sorry.
But I think now you know where Brian's coming from. He would like to see Ringo Starr play the Super Bowl. Okay, great. I think we know what's going on
We'll see you next week
with the Violent Femmes.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.